If you're just looking at an ESPN matchup page before you place a bet, you are not even close to seeing all the information that actually affects the game. Inside DataStreak, we built an MLB Game Dashboard that gives you all the information you need to put yourself in a really good spot. We track in detail team comparisons, the lineups for that day, and how well those lineups have done versus that pitcher, the bullpens, how fatigued those bullpens actually are, as well as the weather for that day, which direction the wind is blowing, and much more. So let me hop over to my screen and show you exactly how I use this to get ahead instead of just a basic matchup page. Here inside the MLB Game Dashboard, I'm going to show you how you can use this every single day to get a great view of every single game. So you're going to see all the different games here. Some are live right now. Rays Guardians are in a delay, so we'll look at that game for today. You'll see live scores in the live games as they start, so you can see kind of which ones are started and which ones are not. You can click on any team to bring up their team profile. I'll scroll down here and show you the Rays Guardians, and you can also click at any point on the team. It'll bring up that team's whole chart, as well as all the other aspects that you can look at for that team. You can look at all their recent form, how they've done against the spread, all that, but you can also see most of that on the actual dashboard here. So you're going to see we have a few different things. You're going to see runs per game, opponent runs per game, but we also have runs home/road, opponent runs home/road. So it's important to look at this because certain teams play better at home versus the road. So you're going to be able to see that. And then the team with the better stats for whatever we're looking at is going to be in green. The worst one's going to be in red. So we can get a basic overview how they are at home, how they are away, last 10 games, but we're also going to be able to see against the run line. So that's important to look at because just because a team has a good record does not mean they're winning by 2 runs, because in baseball, the run lines are always -1.5, so they have to win by 2 runs to cover that. So you can see how well they cover, but also how they cover in the situation they're in. So for example, the Rays here on the left-hand side, we're looking at they're the road team. So they are 10-7 against the spread on the road. The Guardians are the home team. They're 9-6 against the spread at home. We also can see how they are against the spread as the favorite, as the underdog, and how they are against the spread their last 10. Very important to look at recent form. That way you know how they've been. We also can see the weather here. You can see the little particles showing. Wind is actually blowing in 8 miles an hour. So very important to know what the weather is for that game. So in baseball, it doesn't matter as much. Now in football, they're going to play through the rain. In baseball, they're going to get rained out or delayed, but you want to pay attention to the wind. Each game's going to have that. Sometimes it's blowing in, sometimes it's blowing out. You want to know what mile per hour winds are blowing. Sometimes it's a crosswind going across the field. Then you're going to be able to look at the starting pitchers. At any point, you can click on these to bring up their player cards to see more information, and it's going to show their last 5 starts. So always good to see that, as well as their season stats overall. And then you want to know have they done versus this team in their career. So it's going to pull the last few seasons on how they've done. So both these pitchers have been really good versus the team they're playing. So Drew Rasmussen's been great versus the Guardians. Gavin Williams has been great versus the Rays. And so this game kind of points to the under. Wind blowing in. You have good pitchers that have done good versus these lineups. But we want to pull down here and look at the actual lineups. And what you'll see is their season stats, but also you're going to be able to see how they are versus that pitcher. So for example, Jose Ramirez is 2 for 7 with a home run over the last few seasons versus Drew Rasmussen. So always important to know not only how that team's hitting, but also how are they doing versus the pitcher, how have they done versus the pitcher that they're facing. Super important, because certain lineups smash certain pitchers even if they're a good pitcher, and certain lineups really struggle versus certain pitchers. So we can see all that. We can click again on any player that we want to look at and check out their card. Now we also want to look at the bullpen comparison. So we have bullpen ratings that adjust every single day. This factors in fatigue. So you can see the Guardians have 5 fresh arms, 6 tired arms. So very important to know this, because the Guardians have bullpen fatigue concerns. So if any bullpen is gassed, you might not want to take them on the full game. You might want to bet them on the first 5, or at least just take that into account. And then if we want to see the full bullpen details on their fatigue, we can see it there. And also we have a full bullpen page to look at more details on the bullpens, but this gives you a really good idea. Then also we're going to have game analysis. This is a little write-up to show you, injuries, how they've done head-to-head, how they've been versus the run line, over-under, all that. So recent trends, the Tampa Bay Rays are 5-0 against the spread their last 5. They've had 1 over, 4 unders, and the Guardians are 1-4 against the spread their last 5. They've had 2 overs and 3 unders. We also can check out the game odds, see who is the favorite, what the odds are, and then at any point we can click on one of these if we want to add it into our bet slip, and we can generate the slip if we wanted to bet that team for that game. Also, we're able to see the recent form, their last 5 games. Good to always know how they've been doing. And you also can see the Rays, they've covered the spread, so they've won by 2 or more runs, or if they were the underdog, they've covered the plus 1.5 run line in the last 5 of their games. And 4 of 5 have gone under for the Guardians. The last 3 went under, and 2 before that went to the over. So this is such a great dashboard to be able to look through and understand each game, because if you're just looking at ESPN dashboards and everything, they're not going to give you the full picture. They're not going to give you the lineup history versus the pitchers that they're facing, as well as the weather, everything. They might give that, but they're not going to actually show you, which way the wind's blowing. It's harder to see. So this is a great tool to be able to look at every single game each day. You can click and pull up any game that you want and take a look and be able to make an assessment from there on who is in a good spot. So really good tool to be able to put all this together, all the information together, the bullpens, the weather, all that into one place. So that's how I use the MLB Game Dashboard. It gives me an overview of every single game, all the different factors that go into each game, and it puts me in a really good spot each day. If you want to try this out for yourself, click the link in the description, create a free DataStreak account, try out the free hit rate sheets along with the MLB Game Dashboard and all the other tools inside the platform that I talk about on these videos.